get started. Emily, if you'll just start by saying and spelling your first and last name for me.
Sure. I'm Emily Campbell, EMILY-CAMPBELL.
And what's your title?
I'm the Associate Director at the Center for Community Solutions.
And where are you guys based? Northeast Ohio?
So we're headquartered in Cleveland, but we have an office right near Capitol Square in downtown Columbus.
Got it. All right. So our viewer questions about this latest round of stimulus checks. We have a viewer, Brandon Johnson, writes, what year of taxes are they going off of?
Great question. So for this round of stimulus, the IRS will use the information that they have on you. So if you have already filed your 2020 taxes this year, that is the year of income that they will use. If you haven't done that yet, they'll go back to 2019.
Awesome. And then we have a question from Kristen. She wants to know, I got the first stimulus, but not the second stimulus. How can I make sure I get the third?
Sure. So getting one stimulus, the first one, the second one, doesn't necessarily mean that you'll qualify for the third. There are a couple of different things that may be happening. One is that the very first stimulus checks could have been based on your 2018 earnings. So if things have gone up, if you've gotten raises since then, you may no longer qualify. And also with each round of stimulus, they're narrowing the eligibility a little bit to have it be more targeted. So it's possible that you may unfortunately not qualify for the second or third check. The good news though, is that if you don't get a check now, or you didn't get one in January, when you file your taxes, if you do end up qualifying, you'll get that as a refund.
All right, and moving along here, we have a question from Danielle, and this is a question we've actually been hearing from a lot of people about the child tax credit. How will it be paid out, the 2021 child tax credit?
Sure. So in addition to these direct stimulus payments that are coming to most Americans, there are also some significant improvements in the child tax credit, which should really help families with children. There's one estimate that 95% of Ohio's children will benefit from these changes to the child tax credit. For low-income Ohioans or those who may be unemployed, the expectation is that that tax credit may be broken up into monthly checks that will come into people's accounts or as checks starting this summer, probably in July. For most of us, though, that benefit from the tax credit improvements, we'll see that when we file our taxes next year. So it'll reduce the amount that we have to pay to the IRS, or we'll get a bigger refund.
Okay. A user on Twitter with the title Shady Pines writes, when will my money be deposited?
So the IRS is expected to move pretty quickly. During the last round of stimulus, the checks or the deposits started to happen within days of the legislation becoming law. So as soon as President Biden signs the legislation and it becomes law, the checks and the information will start to be processed. To make sure to get your stimulus payment quickly, be sure that your information is updated with the IRS.
And Todd writes, how I think he means, how do I add banking information if he already filed rather without it to avoid getting a paper check? He said they had a website to do that, but it's suspended for now.
Right. So the best thing to do is be sure to check the IRS website at irs.gov. That is where all of the information will be about when the checks will come and where you're able to input your information. If you go there and click on Get Coronavirus Tax Relief, that will be where you will be able to do that. One thing I would caution is to be sure to watch out for scams. The IRS will never ask you to pay a fee to update your information. Be very wary if you get unsolicited phone calls or emails. The safest thing to do is open your browser separately on your home network, not on a public network, and go to irs.gov to provide your information directly to the federal government.
And then this question, this last one, when will inflation hit? We've seen a lot of concerns on social media about inflation as a result of this stimulus.
So I am not a tax preparer or an accountant, but I do have a degree in economics. And these stimulus measures are meant to buoy the economy at a time when we're really concerned about economic downturn, about recession. People continue to be unemployed by the thousands, a lot of hardship in Ohio and across the country. And so right now, the concern really isn't inflation. It's about making sure that this economic downturn doesn't get any worse. The good thing about these economic stimulus payments and a lot of the other policies that are in this piece of legislation is that they meet the three tests that economists have for economic stimulus to be effective. They're timely, they're targeted, and they are temporary. So should work to ensure that things don't get worse.
Emily, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add or say? Maybe any concerns or questions you've had in your office?
One of the things I think is that these proposals, especially the improvements to the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit, will have a bigger effect in a state like Ohio that has hundreds of thousands of children that are growing up in poverty. So this is really good news for those who are struggling in our communities.
Emily, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.